Ah, thank you to February 2025's Department of Minnesota American Legion News Network podcast. We are so thankful, Jennifer Havlick and myself, Kelly Adelsman, to be able to bring to you relevant topics of how we work together at the post level, the district level, the department level, and even at the national level to do the vast work that the American Legion has for each one of us. This month, we thought it would be helpful because elections are going to happen in July for a department to talk with those individuals that are running for department positions. And so Linda Dvorak has agreed to talk with us. And so thank you for your time. I appreciate you. We're going to talk, let me just put this out there so people will know. Hopefully we're going to talk to you about what was it that you decided to run department commander this year? Was there anything special, or what is your platform? And then you're going to be going to the Department of Washington's the American Legion's legislative committee and platform in Washington. I'm just trying to think what they actually call it now.
It's Washington Conference.
Thank you. And Jennifer is always the voice of reason. So you are going to be going for the first year. And then also for our listeners, Linda, Jennifer, and myself have all been on the training committee since the Department of Minnesota's inception in 2020. And so we might just weave in some of that also. So, Linda, if I could give you the microphone for a little bit, and you can start wherever you want to. Conference.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I think that this podcast is an important media tool for the American Legion Department of Minnesota, especially. And I am, whatever you want to ask me, ask me.
Right. What post do you come from?
I come from Post 45 in New Prague, Minnesota.
Okay. So they're willing to share you for a year.
Well, yes. Yes, they are. They are currently sharing me with the auxiliary because I'm the auxiliary president this year at our unit. So they're missing out on me for a whole year.
Okay.
I think I don't get to the fact that you're running for department commander, and should you be elected, you're going to be spending a lot of time away from the post because that's a lot. Can you tell us why you decided to run for department commander?
Yeah, I guess I really don't have a reason that I wanted to run. After I saw Mark run and what he went through, I was very proud of what he did. And I thought, you know what, I want to be a part of that as well.
Yeah.
And I think that was my main reason.
Well,
I think the American Legion is an important organization, and I want to further the principles of that organization.
Well, and I think we should tell our viewers, too, that your husband, Mark Dvorak, former department commander, is what we lovingly refer to as a department commander, as a COVID commander, because he served 2 years during COVID. So we like to refer to that as the COVID commander years, because normally in the Department of Minnesota, you can't succeed yourself. You can only get to run 1 year. Then you have to take a break. And if for some reason you wanted to be commander again, you could do it. But normally you can't do it 2 years in a row.
And I actually was the district commander for the COVID years. And so I ran for 2 years as well. And that has never happened since the inception of the 3rd district. That's run for 2 consecutive years. So yeah, we were COVID commanders together.
It's funny, in 6th district, their 6th district shirts for those 2 years had Coronas on the pocket for the Corona years. It was a running joke at a certain point that, everybody had served so long either on the DEC or and of course all our committees ran for 2 years too. So that's 2 years longer than some expected to run. So that was a lot. So, Linda was also my membership director when I was commander. and that was in 22, 23. So she took a little break, and now she's getting ready to be, hopefully, department commander.
Yeah. I know both. I have vivid memories of both of you leading the charge for the mylegion.org, and helping and getting calls from Minnesota, outside of Minnesota, at national. Both of you became the subject matter experts, and I'm hoping that some of that has gone away, because that was a lot of work for both of you. I feel you should be paid. Huh?
It was a lot. Yes, it was.
Yeah. And I actually quit taking phone calls if I'm still getting phone calls, and I just send them to the new membership director and let them deal with them. If they have issues that they can't resolve and they want my help, I will help.
Yeah.
That's about where I am with Minnesota. I mean, obviously I'm not in Minnesota. My job is here in Colorado, so I still get a lot of that for here. But yeah, we were on the phone, God, we were on the phone 24/7 sometimes.
That's right.
Yep. And you both became very proficient in how to run membership, the rosters, how to navigate and how to correct all of the glitches. Because I think wasn't it during the time when National was going electronic and they changed their format, which caused all of the troubles that we were having.
They had the old My Legion, and then they brought in what they now refer to as Personify. And unfortunately, the turnover from one to the other didn't go as smoothly as anticipated. So Linda and I decided we were going to dig into it and find the glitches and make sure that we knew what the glitches were and how to get around those glitches. We're pretty known for getting around the glitches, but in the defense of our parent company, the American Legion, at the national level, it is much better now. I use it a lot, and there aren't a lot of glitches going on anymore.
Yeah, that's perfect. Because, I mean, anytime you have something oriented with technology, you're always going to have glitches. Change never happens without glitches, without having to adapt and learn. And both of you. And so one of the things I'm excited to see, and I was happy to see with Jennifer, is you have that background and that experience on how to manage, and you also know who to contact, and get things resolved. And I know, Linda, you've been the membership director, you've been the district commander. I'm assuming you've been a vice commander. You're on the training committee. You're coming off the training committee. I mean, your hands are all over the Department of Minnesota, if you will, of being able to confidently know what you're talking about and how to steer the ship.
We're excited to have your husband, past department commander Mark Dvorak, drive you around as commander, because he'll be first gentleman as a first lady. Which that'll be exciting.
Yeah. Washington. Can I switch over to Washington?
Sure.
Washington is going to happen the end of February, when all the departments come together and we meet with our representatives. We have to schedule all that. Our legislative committee does those schedulings for us. And then if you're on a national committee, we meet also during that time. And then that's also the time that the national commander sits and reports to Congress of all the things that this federally chartered organization does on behalf of the American Legion, for the American Legion, on behalf of our country, for our veterans. And so you're going to go for the very first year.
I am.
What are you excited to do when you get there?
I guess I don't know what to expect. So I'm excited to learn and meet our representatives and talk about the initiatives that the American Legion has.
Yeah. Well, make sure you put on your walking shoes, because there's a lot of walking going on there.
All right.
fast too. You spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes tops in an office, and then you're sprinting off to a different congressional congressman or a senator or whatever, plus any, meetings you have if you have a national appointment. So, make sure you have your step meter on, because that will tell you. God, I did thousands and thousands of steps when I was there as department.
Oh, I'm up for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues that National American Legion is working on. And so what we do is we have this advantage, the opportunity to speak usually with our representatives, their staff members. We hardly ever meet with the rep directly. We will usually talk with a staff member, but every once in a while, like Angie Craig, I think she likes to stay involved and meet with us directly. And that's been my experience. And so I look forward to, I'm going to be there again. And I actually now know what I'm doing. It takes a while. But meeting with your representative, I think, is the bulk of our work that we do out there. And Jennifer, you're right. You're in and out. They want to know how they can help. And I'm just looking for the email because I got the legislative agenda today.
I think that we have our committee meetings one day and then we meet the legislators the next day. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's usually what it is. Yeah. You do your committee meetings and or rev up so that you can get a bunch of information. National will make sure that you all have the stuff for the national level legislative cycle and what our issues are, because sometimes our issues are very different at the state level than they are at the federal level. So I know a bunch of information for that and tell you to go forth.
Yeah, I have all those printed off, ready to go when we take off. There's some pretty good agenda items, I think.
Yeah, there's something under each one of the 4 pillars: the Americanism, veteran, national.
I didn't see children and youth this year.
Looking. Okay. Nope.
There's VA&R, national security, Americanism, and then veterans, employment, and education.
Okay.
Well, and I think national security will be really big this year too, because of the new president, the new Congress, the new Senate, and the country pretty much knows that priorities for the nation are starting to shift. Although our priorities as Legionnaires has not shifted, we've always been very strong on national security, legislative. VA&R is important to us. We want to make sure that our veterans are taken care of through the VA and taken care of well and quickly. So those will be, you're right, those will be the 3 big ones.
Yeah, and I'm on the security.
Are you?
I'm on the National Security Council. I'm a consultant for aerospace. And people say, well, what does that mean? And I really don't know. So I just tell them I'm supposed to make sure the Space Force exists.
Well, when you go to that meeting, they'll give you more information about what.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just supposed to consult. So.
Well, and here's the thing, and here's where we can take a real quick moment, because at the national level, so you have national level appointments for councils, committees, and commissions. So you start off as on the council, right? And I probably will get in trouble for this, but I like to call it a lady in waiting, right? You're not queen, you probably never be queen, but you're on a committee and sometimes you get call-ins, and your job is to make sure that information gets down inside your department. And if you get a call-in, you'll go to Washington or at National Convention. You may get a call-in to go to meetings while you're at National Convention too. Council is the next level higher, and you stand a chance of getting more call-ins and different call-ins. And then commission is where that's the tight-knit group at the national level that usually really interact with all VA&R and national security and children and youth and stuff like that. That's a heavier appointment. So I look at it as council is you have your test wheels on it, and you're test driving the car. On the committee, you're starting to get comfortable, and then at the commission, you should know everything you need to know because you're a commissioner. You have a commissioner spot on one of
Takes a while.
our committees.
Yeah, takes a while. There's about 10 of us from the Department of Minnesota that are going to be going to the Washington conference. And so national security is usually represented because they have their committee meetings there. Veteran education and employment, veteran affairs and rehab. I think the veteran cemetery
Yes.
meets also.
Yeah, the veteran cemetery is under VA&R. Same with traumatic brain injury and PTSD. That's also under there too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I found the food to be good in Washington.
Oh, good.
You got to know where to go. And there's a few of us that know where to go. I'm not one of them.
I'll follow you around.
No, don't follow me because I don't know where to go.
Don't worry, the other people there will know where to go. Just follow the Legionnaires. That one of our big things as Legionnaires is we like food. So wherever we go, we make sure we know where all the good food is. Even if we're like in Indianapolis for national stuff, we all know where the good spots to eat are. So don't worry, you won't starve while you're there.
No. I like one of the things that is innate to the American Legion are those relationships. And at the Washington conference, of course, you're just going to continue to develop those relationships across departments, the states.
Yep.
So I don't know if any of your National American Legion college alum are going, Linda.
I do not.
Okay. And so
I would be willing to bet that you're going to find some there.
Yeah, running into people and you're like, hey, and then you get to work together over the years. You get to cross-germinate, if you will. I think those are the things that I have found to be the most helpful. And then how do we take that message back to Minnesota as this is what we've been up to? So we always have to report back.
And that's the best part about these big things like this, because you can go, and even if you're not in your committee meetings or you're not visiting with politicians, you're also sitting around the hotels and the venues, and you're talking to other Legionnaires from other states, and you're comparing notes. What does your state do? What does your state do?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cross knowledge going back and forth about, how do we do this? How can we improve that? So that's also helpful too. So I always encourage people who are going to these national events to do that. Don't stay inside your Minnesota group. Go and talk to other people from other states. And I don't mean just like Iowa or North Dakota. I mean California. I mean New York. I mean Florida. All the way around the country, because things are just really different from state to state.
Yeah. We've been on the training committee together for 5 years. And so what the audience doesn't know is we each know each other really well. And we each have our own way of communicating. I'm going to miss you, Linda, if you do become department commander, because you have been so instrumental in the training committee, doing all of the work that needs to get done. And you have a really good way of putting that big picture and then siphoning it down into the practical communication when needed. And so I can only imagine that that's been consistent for you at the district level too.
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Do you have to pick out a project now, or do you have to hit the ground running? If you become department commander, do you have to have everything in place and then you're just going to a parade day one?
Yeah, I do. I have to pick all the committee people will have to be done before the convention, because we have our executive meeting a half an hour after the convention closes. Okay. And I have to have all those committee people selected. And I have not totally decided on my project. I do have my theme, which is back to the basics, the 4 pillars.
Oh, sure.
Concentrate on the 4 pillars. I do have my membership director, which is going to be Joe Barsh he's actually from the 3rd District.
Is this the first time saying this out loud?
It is. It is.
Right here on this podcast.
And there's going to be some exciting things happening next year that we're planning on. So I'm not going to release any details, but I think it's going to be a good year.
So now you know planning.
Now you know we're going to have Joe on here so that he can let the cat out of the bag on what your membership plan is.
Because the membership director is appointed, not elected.
It is. It's an appointed position.
So you've had to look throughout like who can possibly and wants to and who's equipped to do this. Because Joe went to National American Legion College a couple of years ago too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I had some people in mind and talked to him, and he was one of them. He was one of my top 5. And not technically, but sometimes you really don't want to have 2 people from the same district doing those 2 positions.
Sure.
But
and you were prepared if that happened. And so that's exciting. And then the rest of the positions, we've got the 5 vice commanders, they'll be elected, the chaplain will be elected, the historian will be elected. The treasurer is an appointed position.
it is.
No, the treasurer is elected.
Oh, it's elected, but it's an elected for a 3-year term, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And that's Mark's position right now, isn't it?
No, he resigned.
Oh, Al Davis is currently the treasurer.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I missed all that. You got to stay up on this stuff, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that happened at the last convention.
Okay.
He
Okay.
resigned.
So are you ready to go into the Hopkins parade Sunday morning right after you're elected?
I am. That would be fun. I actually was in that parade when Mark was the commander. We had to go right in there, but they put me in the car with them, so I'm ready.
Okay.
Mark will have to sit in the car with me.
There's, what's funny is you don't, until you meet with the adjutant in preparation of becoming commander, even if you have an opponent, right, both meet, and they give you this 2.5-page long list of must-dos. That's what I call it, the must-do list that you start off with. And that's before you get invited to any posts or districts. Being on the radio show, what is it, the Veterans Radio, I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
And the commander's task force is once a month. There's a lot of things other than just visiting posts and district events. So it's a lot.
Yes, it is. There's a lot. Yeah. In fact, I got the calendar for 1 month of the commander this year's Commander Carl Moon. And oh my gosh, I don't know that he was home at all one day that month.
Yeah. Probably in the first 3 months, you really don't see your house very often.
Yeah.
And then because you have national convention, you'll have national membership workshop, you'll have task force, you'll have all these things that you have to do. But once you get past the national convention, of course, once you get past that into like November, you start to glide a little more evenly, as opposed to, what the military calls is that emergency ascend, when you're like doing the degree angle in a takeoff, and then you start to level out. And you're like, how did I survive those 3 months? It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think it picks up again in January, February with the midwinters and the rallies and then I think from then on it's a little bit busy. Not as busy as those first couple months, but
yeah. Once you hit the appreciation rally, then it starts to rocket up again. But this time, instead of going uphill, you're like you hit the appreciation rally and you're like, oh, I'm coming in for a landing here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
The one thing that's kind of interesting is that this laundry list of things you get to do.
Wow.
So before you're elected as the commander, you have this list, and one of those things is, where are you going to have your testimonial and when? So I'm not even in the job yet, and I have to start planning my testimonial for when I'm done. So
Yeah, I'd have to imagine I know where that's going to be.
I wonder.
Well, New Prague is a really good host as far as supporting, connected, beautiful ballroom.
Yep.
Mark plays a musical instrument. It's a beautiful thing. This is coming out in February, and isn't this the month of oratorical?
Oratorical is February, yes.
Yep.
Okay. And so each one of the posts are having their oratorical contest, or are we at district now?
I think, I don't know all the districts, but I know
Right.
the third district is coming up, I think, on the 1st.
Okay.
And and then I think that the department oratorical is more towards the middle of February.
Yeah, I think it's the second weekend in February. Correct. And we'll have Jamie Woods on next month to tell us about how all that worked out and who our winner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because February is the oratorical, and then we also have a rally here, and then there's a few midwinters. So will you be going to the remaining midwinters in February and letting them know you're running?
Yeah, there is only one, and it's the second district. Yep, that's the only midwinter that's left. Unfortunately, I never made it to any other of the midwinters because I was on vacation.
As you should be. Gosh darn it. You're gonna be busy
before you become commander, because you won't have time to do it when you become commander
for a whole year. Yeah, midwinters are really designed for the posts to get together and to do some education, I think.
Yes.
And then you have department people that'll come visit, or the district people get together, and then it's usually the auxiliary and the sons, so it's more of a team effort. And then the oratorical is for young people. It's our oratorical contest is for young people to compete for scholarship money.
Correct. 10th grade through seniors.
Okay. And if anyone is interested in what a phenomenal program this is at the American Legion, and you have YouTube, I would YouTube the American Legion oratorical. Phenomenal human beings, young people.
Yeah, I've always said, if you're losing faith in the next generation when it comes to what's important in our government and what goes on with it, Kelly is correct. Just Google American Legion oratorical contest and watch some of these young adults get up there, and they talk about things, and I go, wow, I feel like I really need to study that more, because, a 10th or 11th grader knows more about government and the amendments and the Bill of Rights than I do. And that hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Again, I'm not looking forward to you not being on the training committee. You've been so instrumental, but I appreciate, the back to the basics, because really that's what our college is really designed to, is, that strong foundation of how to run at the post level, even at, what is the district all about? What's the department? And then how do we all work together? And then we really want, and I think Mark Dvorak was kind of instrumental putting the college together for Minnesota. And in person, you're sitting next to other people from throughout the state, and you have this opportunity to talk with one another and realize that your issues are not uncommon. A lot of them are very common issues that we all have, right?
Correct.
So you can tell us that you're really going to miss us.
I'm going to really miss you.
Well, I'm sure we can get you right back on the training committee once you're done.
We'll see.
Oh, goodness.
She's gonna be like, I'm gonna take a year off. And you don't and here's the thing, you don't even really get a year off because even when you're done being commander, you're the immediate department commander. So there's still stuff and committees that you sit on, so when you think you're done, you're not really done.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's almost like it's a 2-year commitment. It's really a 3-year commitment because you
if
the
they,
year of your campaigning, the year you're the commander, and then you got the year that you're the junior commander or whatever they call them.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
immediate past department commander.
Yeah.
yeah, because running for department commander is just not something that you just say, oh, I'm going to be a department commander one day.
Well,
Look,
I am sure that there are some people out there that think that.
Yeah.
I think there are. I think that you need to have the will and it's not something to be taken lightly.
No, it's not, because you're representing the American Legion. How many American Legion legionnaires are there in the Department of Minnesota?
Oh, 6,000 something.
58,000 and change.
60,000.
Yeah. So you represent all of them.
Correct.
And so your conduct is scrutinized beforehand, and we need to know that we have somebody of the character to represent us well. And that's innate in the American Legion.
And you have to be able to deal with the people that don't agree with some of the things that we do. And you have to be able to, talk to them and try to explain the way we feel as a group. And hopefully they're okay with it.
Yeah. I think that servant model.
You also have to be able to understand that once you become department commander, everybody and their mother will try to start an email address with your phone number on it, with your name on it. That's
on again.
Oh, it's every year, all year long. The minute you become a department officer, it's, they put your name on it, but it's not really your email. And then everybody sends you an email and says, are you asking for this? And I'm like, no, look at the email address. It's not really mine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's spamming.
Here. So
it's happened again. It just, it makes it circles. And so I just got a fresh batch from Carl Moons wanting to know if I had a moment. So I didn't know to delete them, just delete them. So I'll be deleting Linda every once in a while on my emails because of the spams.
I've gotten them from me. I'm like,
which is unfortunate.
You have a minute for Jennifer? I'm like, no, actually, I don't have a minute for myself.
Oh my gosh. So
part of it.
I was just thinking of a few things that you could probably shed some light on, and now it's gone. So, oh well, it's what my old brain feels like.
Linda, we really appreciate you coming on our podcast, and of course, after you potentially become department commander, because again, ladies and gentlemen, department convention, anybody can be nominated off the floor to be.
Oh yeah.
But should she be elected, we're absolutely going to have Linda Dvorak back here initially for her, hi, you're department commander. Now, how are you feeling about the election and what do you hope to accomplish during your year? So you should be prepared for that. You'll get an email.
Well, and maybe
in January.
Maybe I can share my little secrets about what's going to happen this year.
Well, there you go. We'll do that right after you're elected, and maybe if Kelly and I are skillful enough, we can do it, department convention. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to get penciled in.
We'll have media communications in the room during department convention. So T and I may only have to be the hosts, and we can get the media and communications gurus to do all the technical stuff for us.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Yeah. We will see. Any words of wisdom? You got any words of wisdom, Linda?
I do not have any words of wisdom.
Me neither.
I'm saving them all.
You got
And-
to talk a lot, so save them for later.
So this year's department convention, we always have our department convention in July, but it'll be in Wilmer, and there'll be an election, and your name will be in the ring for department commander. Let me see. What are the dates in July? The 9th through the 12th.
Yes.
Yeah. And so elections are on the 11th.
Correct.
Or yeah. So on the 11th, we'll know who our department commander is. You're running. And then on the 12th, then there's the first executive committee meeting. Correct?
And the installation of the officers will be on that Saturday as well.
Yeah.
She will run her first DEC meeting. She'll pack her stuff, and then she'll run off to Hopkins to be in the parade.
That's right. That's exactly what I'll do.
Well, I hope you get
it over.
Get your sleep. Get your sleep. Drink your water.
There's no sleeping when you're department commander.
So gotta do it now.
Being department commander.
Thank you for your time, Linda. I appreciate your
very much
time for us.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.